we can use the derivative to solve rectilinear motion problems that involve position, speed, velocity, and acceleration. So if we consider a particle travelling along this path, we measure the position from some fixed origin, so we draw an arrow from the origin to the particle. And that has a length x0. And you can also interpret that graphically as follows, where the particle starts from x0 at time t0. And similarly from the origin to x2, you'll also have another position. So these are what we call position vectors, which have a length and a direction. So using the graph, the particle ends up at position x2, which is negative or to the left of the origin. And we define a displacement as a change in position. So the final position in the interval we're looking at minus the initial position. So in our particle motion, we have x2 minus x0. And as we can see, x2 minus x0 gives an arrow that points to the left. And that's the displacement. So the displacement has a length and a direction. So in this case, the displacement is west or to the left. So the displacement is also a vector, having a length and a direction. Now distance, on the other hand, is the total length that the particle has travelled. So from x0 to x1 to x2. So this can also be seen graphically. So the distance that particle travels is from x0 to x1. And then from x1 to x2. So the distance is a scalar quantity. It has no direction, but only a magnitude. And that's the difference between displacement and distance. We can define the average velocity as the change in position or displacement on a change in time. And that can be seen between 2 points on the position time curve. Now if we take the limit as delta t approaches 0, we obtain the instantaneous velocity. So you can see that the instantaneous velocity is the slope of the tangent to the position time curve at a particular time. And the velocity is a vector, which also has a length and a direction. So when the particle travels from x0 to x1, we can see that the velocity is positive. And at x1, the particle changes direction. So the velocity becomes 0, which is also the slope of the tangent to the position time curve. And from x1 to x2, the slope of the tangent to the curve is negative, meaning that the velocity is negative and the particle is travelling to the left. Now another quantity to define is speed, which is a magnitude of the instantaneous velocity. So speed is a scalar, whereas velocity is a vector. So you can imagine reading the speed of the speedometer of your car. It has no direction, but just a number. We can define average and instantaneous acceleration in a similar way we define those velocities. So the average acceleration is the change in velocity on the change in time. So here you can see that the velocity is linear. So between any 2 points on this curve, you can see that the slope is constant. And if you take the limit as delta t approaches 0, we obtain the instantaneous acceleration. which is the slope of the tangent to the velocity time curve at a particular time. And you can see that this is also constant when the velocity is linear. So from x0 to x1, we have a velocity, and the particle changes direction when the velocity is 0 and then travels west. So because the acceleration is always negative, then from x0 to x1 it points this way, and from x1 to x2 it also points to the left. So therefore the acceleration is a vector quantity, which has a length and a direction. So when the acceleration points against the velocity, the particle is decelerating or slowing down. And when the acceleration points in the same direction as the velocity, the particle is accelerating or speeding up. We can connect the position, velocity and acceleration using the position time curve and observing the behavior of a few tangents to the curve. So over the first interval of motion from x0 to x1, we can observe that the tangents are always positive. So therefore, the velocity is greater than 0, because the velocity is the slope of the tangent to the curve at a particular time t. And if you compare two tangents, you can see the velocity is decreasing. So the acceleration is the change in velocity over time, so therefore the acceleration is negative. Now in the second interval of motion, we can see that the slope of the tangent to the curve is always negative, so therefore the velocity is less than 0, but the slope of the tangent is increasing in a negative direction. So therefore the acceleration is less than 0. So in this interval, the particle is decelerating because the velocity is against the direction of the acceleration. And in this interval, from x1 to x2, the particle is accelerating because the velocity is in the same direction as the acceleration, which is negative or west or to the left. The motion of a car is described by the following equation, and we're given the following initial conditions, and we're asked what is the rate of change of position over time. So that would be the velocity, which is the first derivative of position with respect to time. So that would be v0 plus 2a0t. And the acceleration is the second derivative of position with respect to time, or the first derivative of velocity with respect to time. So that would be 2a0. And substituting for the initial conditions and a time of 5 seconds gives us the velocity is equal to 44 meters per second, and the acceleration at 5 seconds is equal to 2 by a0, which is 6 meters per second squared. And note the units for the derivatives are consistent with the result. The motion of a particle is graphed below, and at what time does the particle change direction? Well, the velocity is the slope of the tangent to the position time curve, and when the velocity is 0, so that's when the particle changes direction at 1 second. Now part B asks what is the total distance travelled. So the particle starts from 0 and goes to 1 meter, and then from 1 meter it travels to minus 3 meters. So effectively it's travelled a total distance of 5 meters. And part C asks us what is the average velocity from t equals 0 to 3 seconds. So the average velocity is a displacement on the change in time. So the displacement is the final position minus the initial position over the final time minus the initial time. So what we get is minus 1 meter per second, which is the same thing as 1 meter per second west or to the left, because the velocity has a direction.